Some developments in curriculum delivery. First of all, we're finding more and more that if you ask students what they're carrying around with them, they are all carrying around electronic devices, whether they're PDAs, mobile phones, iPods, whatever. And I think what we've got to be better at is looking at how we can use the technologies the students have on their bodies at the moment to help them to communicate with us and us with them. And I think the technologies are changing so fast that there are huge opportunities there. We need to look more and more, and I know another colleague here watching me online, Stuart Hurst, has been doing work over the years on reusable learning objects. How can we develop a range of materials that are easy to find, meta-tagged so that students and staff can find their way around resource bases? How can we use those reusable learning objects so that it takes away some of the drudgery of production and yet it allows you to provide a personalised and customised path through materials for students, which gets away from that Sisyphean treadmill I mentioned earlier. I think we need to rethink how and what we do. The whole idea of lecture theatres is an area we keep talking about. I'm a great fan of the great lecture, as long as it doesn't go on too long. I'm a great fan of bringing students together in collective occasions. I'm a great fan of building cohort cohesion. But I'm not a great fan of talking for a whole hour to passive, receptive students who are sitting there and probably texting and probably on Facebook on their laptops in front of you and picking up little bits of what you're saying. I think we've got to look at more exciting and more interesting ways of doing it than that. I think we also need to be aware that in this day and age, a cross-cultural approach, again, something we're very proud of here at Leeds Met, is something that we really need to be thinking of. So if this is the kind of approach we're going to take, what should we be consigning to the rubbish chute of history? Well, for a start, I think we shouldn't be anywhere building any more classrooms with fixed PCs, with students sitting in serried ranks behind fixed PC screens. I think they're dead in the water. I think the places we've got them, we've got to gradually phase them out. And we've got to find ways to enable students to use technologies around them, big screens, small screens, laptop screens, but not those physical banks of desks which are just as boring and as difficult to use as old-fashioned scientific labs were. I think we need to get rid of electronic whiteboards, a personal point of mine. I think electronic whiteboards work absolutely fine if you've got a dozen or 20 students. Any more than that and you just can't see what's going on them. I think we want to get away from death by PowerPoint. I think we don't want to have people being driven through the drudgery of seeing slide after slide. I know that's an interesting thing for me to say when I've been using PowerPoint today as an aid memoir for me, but I think you'll find that actually what I'm saying is wrapped around the PowerPoint rather than straightforward reading what's on the screen. Chalk and blackboards, and I've put a question mark behind those because Leeds Met is a university that works extensively in a number of developing countries. And in some developing countries, you can't rely on there always being electricity supply. So I think we need to be quite astute about how we use traditional methods. Don't let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. In fact, some of the universities we work with have missed out the whole use of overhead projectors and everything else like that, and have gone straight to plasma screens provided in their central hubs. But I think we need to think through about those curriculum methods, and if you are going to use a blackboard or a whiteboard, you really have to think about visibility and legibility. And I think we also, while we're thinking about what we're going to do in the future, we need to make sure that we don't just go with 60-minute slots in lecture time. I think they're going in FE colleges. They're still very much what we do in universities. My question to you for the rest of the day on this topic is, what would you want to get rid of? Now that I'm going to finish with my predictions for the next 20 years, and my discussion point for you on this as the rest of the day goes on is, what do you think are going to happen in the next 20 years? But here are my 2, 3. First of all, I think we're going to move away from universities and colleges being the guardians of content, where everything is about delivery, to much more about universities having 2 major functions. First of all, I think universities are going to be about recognising and accrediting achievement wheresoever it comes from. So I think we've got to get away from our fixed university year, our fixed assessment points, and we have to start looking at what students can do and assessing those competencies where they fall. And secondly, I think the other major thing that universities and colleges are going to be about is about supporting student learning and engagement as extensively as possible. I'm coming to the end of my presentation, and I'm very happy to have had this opportunity to talk to you. I'm grateful to my Leeds Met colleagues for their inputs to what I've been talking about and for being here either virtually or physically to help support me. The place you need to go to now, I think, is the website that you can see on your screens now, I believe, which will take you to the discussion points. I'm certainly hoping to pop into those discussions at some time over the week, and I hope that this presentation has given you a few things to talk about and a few things to carry away and think about. Thank you very much on behalf of myself and on Leeds Met. Thanks to the crew who made this possible. The Leeds Met technical crew have worked really hard to do this. I'm very grateful to you all, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.